Okay. A lot of things to cover. And how much time to cover? Never, never Roblox gamer. Hello, hello, nasty guy. I remember you from yesterday. See, this will turn on. Life's good. So this is gonna be a review of the finals. We got a lot of stuff to go over. Where that dude who said Tobogo runs 924 from nasty guy? Yeah, that's actually one of the things we're gonna go over. But I'm gonna wait until we get some more people. So, nope, not that. Let's put this on the screen. I'm so glad that the Wi-Fi is fixed on my TV so I can do this again. Because that was so annoying. Oh, don't be hang on. So, I don't remember what time. No, I remember what time won gold, 1952. I don't remember what time got the rest of the medals though, so I'm gonna pull that up. Okay, so 1952, 1958, 1964, all of those times were relevant, very important, which is part of the reason we're going to go over them. Where is Noah? Noah is in lane 6, there. Brian 7, Kenny's 8. So the podium ended up being 1, 2, 3. Tobogo came 4th. Oh, Neve Roblox Gamer, sorry. I thought you just tried to do like use one R for the Never and the Roblox, but sorry, Neve Roblox Gamer. So my podium, for those of you that remember, initially was Noah, Brian, then Kenny. But then from what Brian was doing in the heats and semis, it became Brian, Noah, and then Kenny. Obviously, I was wrong. It was Noah, Kenny, then Brian. And I was saying Tobogo was going to come 4th because he wasn't in the shape to podium, to medal. And lo and behold, where did he place? He placed 4th. So I've noticed something really interesting over these world champs, which is 50-50 whether I can predict the podium correct. But there's a very high chance, like 90% chance, that I will get the entire podium. Like, I did it for the men's 100, the men's 200, the women's 200, which I could cover as well. I think I did part of it for the 100, for the women, sorry. I'm not sure if I did. But let's watch it and see if there's anything noteworthy to cover. So I'm going to do the same... I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the heats and semis, which is we're going to see how these three push out the blocks. So let's start with Brian, I guess, because he came 3rd. Right, where's my pen? Did I leave my... So Brian out there, he pushes out inside of the lane, rather good. So let's rewind it back. So Kenny drifts out. What was that? Drifts out to the left part of his lane, so he's on the outside. He stays there for a while, and then Noah, if I remember right, because Noah runs a 200 pretty much the same way every time he runs it, but he should have just come out straight through the middle, which he did, straight down through the middle. So that's good. That's a good Tobogo as well. Tobogo tends to come out a bit off to the left. Reason why we're looking at this is to see how much wasted motion, how much time they've lost from the very first step, because that will add up. So Kenny lost a bit, Brian lost nothing. Actually, Kenny lost a bit, Brian's gaining, and Noah is just running straight out a flat 200, so nothing special there. So that's like, he's on track to run 205 meters, he's on track to run 195 meters, he's on track, Noah, to run 200. So that's cool. Kenny 205, Brian 195, Noah just 200. That's why the where you come out of the blocks and where you drift from there, it all adds up, it all matters. So Let's just watch it now, I guess. Don't lag, man. This is in 4K as well. Stop it there. So you can see the positionings. Tobogo looks like he's in 4th place. Brian's clearly in 1st. He's practically in line with Kenny. He's slightly behind, but practically in line. Noah seems like he may be in the same position as Brian, but just slightly behind by, this looks like about the 50-60 meter mark. Another thing is, Tobogo's on the inside of the lane, Noah's on the inside of the lane, Brian and Kenny, but Kenny's slightly further away than we really want him to be. All 3 of these guys, so Tobogo, Noah and Brian, are all roughly in around the same positioning. Then the next check is the bend. Ooh. So when they come off the bend, let's bring this closer because I just think it's far. When they come off the bend, Tobogo doesn't really matter here, but these 3, when they come off the bend, Kenny, Brian, and Noah, do they drift to the left of the screen or to the right? That matters. So let's start with Brian because he came 3rd. Brian is in the middle, and from the looks of things, he stays in the middle the whole way. And then let's go to Kenny, Silver. He's slightly off to the inside of his lane. Comes around. Looks like he's in the middle by this point, so he had a slight drift. So he lost a bit of it's not catching up. He lost a bit of his momentum and the torque he generated, or I forgot what you call it, but he's lost a bit of his momentum off the bend by drifting out into the middle of the lane. And then Noah was in the middle, comes around, still in the middle. So Noah has kept his momentum from the bend. Brian has also kept his momentum. Kenny's lost a bit. There's some other things worth knowing, like hip positioning, because you do want to shift your hips and shoulders as you come around the bend here. But Brian and Noah are in the best positions. I think Noah has the highest hips out of everyone, but that might just be because of the angle he's in from the attack. Because Brian seems a bit flat here, hip-wise. He could be a bit taller, but Noah seems really tall. Same with Tobogo. Let's see Kenny. Kenny's alright. Kenny's alright. Could be a bit higher. And then the rest of the race. It is so laggy, it's unbelievable. So rewind it to there. So I was saying, for the first 110 meters, I think, this race went exactly how I predicted it would. If you remember this, or if you was here for the stream yesterday, I said, based off how things were going to go, Tobogo would be near the back, Brian would be in the front with Noah, and Brian would be off the bend before Noah, which was the case. It's slight, and I did acknowledge it would be slight. And then Kenny would be nearby. I don't actually remember exactly what I said for Kenny. I think I had Kenny further back, I'll admit that. But the next thing I said was, from here, it is the Brian and Noah show, but it could go either way. And I said what would be the result would come down to what's going to happen in the next 20 to 30 meters. I said here, if in this position, Brian pulls away even a smidge, Brian will win. If Noah does what Noah often does and pulls away instead, the race is done. And as we ended up seeing, once you get to here, this was where Noah decided to put on the jets. Brian faded, Kenny came through, and then we had the eventual podium of Noah, Kenny, and Brian. Brian faded more than I expected him to, but that also just comes down to my lack of knowledge on him as an athlete. But yeah, let me just do it slowly. Brian starts to crumble a bit. Noah just holds. Noah stays strong, holds, comes through, does what he does. Look, right there, on this specific stride, Brian realizes Noah's ahead, and he kind of just gives up. He doesn't know what to do because he hasn't been in this. His form starts to break down a bit. His stride shortens, and then Kenny starts to come by last minute. Because he can see, in this position, you can see it rather well. Noah's the clear favorite. I mean, if he was to somehow lose from this position, I don't know. Tobogo is slightly behind, and so is Kenny, but they're all in front of Brian. So Tobogo, I want to say Tobogo and Kenny are roughly in line. Tobogo might be slightly in front. The angle of these cameras are really bad. If we had the lines over there, which you might not be able to see, but the lines over there for where they were running right here, it'd be much easier. So Brian is in fourth, and then Kenny continues doing what Kenny's doing. Tobogo realizes he can't win here, and then he kind of just lets up. Like, you can see his head rocking because he wants to start dipping, though he doesn't really dip. Brian keeps pushing, and then that's the result. Tobogo lost the race. Actually, Tobogo lost the race off the bend, but Tobogo lost the bronze medal about there. I want it right there. When he started to give up, he realized, I'm not going to beat Noah. I can see Kenny. I don't think I'm going to beat him either. Because he was in front of Brian. Once he did that, he started kind of slowed down. Brian kept going. Then Brian got the bronze. So that's how the podium ended up becoming. So 1952, 1958, 1964. Every one of those times is relevant. So let's start from the back. Brian's 1964 is a PB. His PB before that was 1969 or 1968. So he improved. Say what you want. When you PB at your champs, even if realistically from how he was running, it looked like you could go faster, you can't just rob that. You can't just say he's a choke or he's underperforming. He PB'd at the end of the day. He's 21. He did what he was supposed to do. Did he make mistakes? Yes. But this is his first World Champs. I don't know about World Champs in general, but in an individual event, this is his first World Champs. So he did well. I found out recently that he has been going back and forth with Kenny on the Grand Slam, getting ripped apart. And look at the gap there. Tiny. Because I'm sure everyone remembers that every single time Kenny jumped on a track for Grand Slam, blowout races for the 1 and the 2. That wasn't the case here between these two. And they've been competing all season together. So that is progress. He's doing well so far. PB and being this close to the finish is good. One of the closer finishes in the 200, which I did acknowledge was going to happen. I did say chances are this was going to be the case. And I wanted to say 19.5 would win. Which is why I believe Brian could do it, because Brian was in 19.5 shape. He kind of gave up before this part of the race, once he saw Noah was pulling away. But 19.52, 19.58, let's get to Kenny. I think this is his second fastest 200 meter time. I think he's run a 19.5 before, which is good. He peaked like how he should. Not really much of a surprise. He's coached by the same person who coached, I believe, Sha'Carri Richardson and Melissa Jefferson, and a few other notable names. So we knew that he was gonna. I mean, he's a silver medal bandit. He's just too good at getting the silver medal. It'd be cool if he managed to do something to get gold. We thought this would be the season, but as the season progressed, we realized it wasn't the case. Noah 19.52. Very important this is because Noah ran that 19.51 in the semis 2 days ago. And when I made my live, I said that was really fast. And now it's going to come down to, can he flush his neural system from the stress he just put himself under and the lactic from his body? And I want to say he didn't. He didn't. But he didn't need to do it as well. Because the fact that he won this says a lot. Noah is not in peak shape. He's not in peak shape, nowhere near it. Noah was not going to run a 19.4, though there was a chance for it if he held the semi-finals performance for later. Noah was not going to PB and break the American record. It just wasn't going to happen. He wasn't in the shape to pull that one off. But he still ran 19.5 the day after running a 19.5. This has been one of Noah's worst World Champs, if you guys haven't noticed, statistically. And probably is quite noticeable from how he's moving and other stuff, but Noah's been running faster in the semis than he's been running in the finals, whether that's for the 1 or the 2. And you might be saying, well, Noah ran 19.8 in the 1, and I said, I think in the stream before, that he ran a 9.9 in the semis into a massive headwind of at least -1. You convert that, that would have been about 9.85, which is faster than his result in the finals. So if we like to give comparison, Oblique ran a 9.78 performance in his heats, and then in the finals ran a 9.77. Noah ran a 9.85 performance in the semis, and then he ran 9.89 in the finals, so kind of slower. And then in the 200, not to as big of a degree, but he did something similar. 9.51, 19.51, 19.52, slower. This has never happened. You never see Noah do that. That is genuinely a rookie mistake, and he did it twice in this one meet alone, which doesn't bode well. I'm not I mean, we'll have to see what he does next season, but I don't see him getting gold next season. This may be his... he said in his interview that he cries every single time he hears the national anthem, because he never knows if this is going to be the last time he hears it, not just on the podium, but with a gold medal around his neck. And I think this could be it, though I would love to be wrong, because longevity in this sport's cool, and he is a great name, so he is useful. But 19.52 cements him as one of the best, because he did it in World Champs finals to win. I believe this is his fourth winning World Champs in the 200, which puts him second to Usain Bolt. So he's practically on the same level as Bolt in that regard, anyway, and I did say if he was going to run a 19.5, it would come down to his title, unofficially, which was like how South Power has the sub-10 king, Noah allows the sub-20 king, which is he can dish out a sub-20 whenever you want him to do it. He could probably do it in training, right when he starts his prep for the next season. I wouldn't be surprised. Would I recommend him doing that? No, but could he do it? Sure. If you used to throw him in a meet in October or November, he could probably drop a sub-20 if he really, really tried. But that title, his ability, what he's done in the 200 was why I said he could run a 19.5. I don't think he will run a low 19.5. He proved me wrong there. But he could run a 19.5, but the race would be capped at no faster than 19.5 because Noah did stupidity in the semis. Brian was in good shape to run a 19.5, but I did acknowledge it would be closer to the higher end. 19.4 was a bit early for him. 19.5, doable, that could happen. Kenny, he was also in 19.5 shape, but I didn't actually see any signs of that during the meet. Like, not even in the 100, for example. Like, usually you'll see them run a certain time, will say, yeah, you can do this. Do we see that from Kenny? But we've seen him run a 19.5 earlier in the season, so we expect that. So, I don't really know how to find this finals, because whilst I was wrong, I was also right on a lot of things. Like with Tobogo, I did say he wasn't going to podium, and it came down to the fact that this season isn't a peaking season for him like the season before. He's just kind of taking it a bit slower, a bit more chilled after his 19.4 at the Olympics last season. And his coach said that, which I've acknowledged a few times, which is why you got the 100 performance that you got, and you got the 200 performances that you got. So, because like, when you think about it, as a 19.4 guy, 19.6 should be relatively easy. He should have run a 19.5, because he's going to be peaking to get to that shape or better it. A year after the Olympics, yeah, that wasn't the case. Kind of been underperforming the entire season, and people have been saying, well, he's the Olympic champ. You got to put some respect on his name, and I'll acknowledge that he's the Olympic champ. That is respect enough, but it all comes down to how you move, and he hasn't been moving well enough to make even make my podium. Closer to the podium than I thought he'd be, but I didn't say that. So which actually brings us to the next part, which is open after 200 meters final live. I'm gonna open this. You probably won't be able to see this, but William Council in yesterday's live said Tobogo would run 19.24. I think the camera's flipped, but 19.24 right there. He's supposed to be in this live. I don't know if he is, but does this look like a 19.24? A 19.24 would have placed, not only would Tobogo have been first, bro would have been there. Bro would have been about there. Yeah, he promised me he'd be in the stream. He promised me he'd be in the stream. But yeah, 1924. I was saying it yesterday, I'll say it again. That would have made Tobogo the second fastest 200-meter athlete in the world, in history, ever so far. A lot of titles to come with that. That would have also meant that if you run that 19.2, next season, the season after that, maybe even the season after that, just guaranteed 200-meter dominance. Like, he's just not getting touched. Addy, he defo hiding. Low-key Tobogo was injured half the season, still ran 9.65. Yeah, that was I saw I didn't watch the interview, but I saw the title of the interview talking about that. So yeah, I do acknowledge he was injured, but I think he went over this a bit. I mean, a lot of people were injured in this, which is why you're not seeing people run fast. Like, two notable ones would be Noah and Tobogo. Noah injured his ankle, I believe, and Tobogo, I don't remember. I actually don't know what he injured because I haven't heard about it. But Kenny's been fresh, Brian's been fresh, and yeah, but yeah, 19.2 wasn't going to happen because that would have made him the second. Actually, to put in perspective on how deadly that 19.24 would have been, let's go back to 2022 or 2023, where we had Sharika Jackson challenge the 200-meter world record of FloJo. Yeah, she missed it by just, I think it was 0.03 or 0.03 to 5. Yeah. If Noah, if Tobogo ran 19.24, he would have missed matching the world record by 0.05. The closest we've ever had an athlete to a Usain Bolt world record is 0.08. That's the closest anyone's ever been. And you're literally saying, well, William Council is literally saying that Tobogo was about to make history, even though he was not showing history-level performances in the heats, the semis, and then clearly not the finals. He didn't even make the podium. So respect for getting as good as where he did, considering the circumstances he was dealing with, because I'm aware his injury was more fresh than Noah, who had his a few more months before this. Lastly, guy, if you had to pick Tobogo or Brian for the next few years in the 200, who do you pick? Brian. I pick Brian because Tobogo's good. The 19.4 is amazing and everything, but I've never seen an athlete run a bend that well in a 200, other than Johan Blake. Like, Usain Bolt is the only athlete who's ever done a sub 10 in the bend, but it doesn't mean he runs the bend well. It's like with Melissa Jefferson. I have this serious issue with the way she runs 200, which is she just hugs the outside of the lane. So yeah, she ran 21.6. It could have been a 21.5, maybe even a 21.4, but she just doesn't know how to run a 200. So she runs fast, but doesn't mean she can't go faster, because a lot of the reasons why in a 200 certain slow athletes in the 100 will run so fast in the 200 is because it's not just about how well you can sprint in a straight, well, not really, let's not talk about bend or straight, but not really about how well you can sprint upright. It's also about how well you can hug the bend around it and off it. And she does that. She does a poor job at running that bend. If I'm being dead honest, if Julian wasn't injured, if she went in that race, she still would have won. Julian would have won anyway, because she runs a way better bend. And I mean, her performance. The thing is, because I don't want to talk about the 200 for the women. It really annoys me. Though, if you guys wait, I will download the 200 video and talk a bit about that there. But I'm not going to talk about what ifs, because that's pointless. That just makes me depressed. Julie was my favorite. She should have won. Whatever. Let's see. Oh yeah, let me go back over the Brian thing. Why I said Brian would be the dominant one. He should run 19.4 next season. Best bend I've ever seen him. Best bend I've ever seen other than Johan Blake, which is amazing. He's still getting his speed. Realistically, he's about I want to say mid to high 9.8 guy in the 100. If he was, he's training under Glenn Mills, I think. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's training under Glenn Mills. So Glenn Mills is notorious for getting athletes into stupidly fast shape, whether that's in a straight line or with a bend. Like, you got Bolt, Blake, and now Seville. So the fact that Brian has a 9'7" guy in his camp is going to be a big motivator for him to do well. Even if it's not Brian. I mean, not Brian. Even if it's not Seville, he's probably with Kashane, with Stephen Francis, and that's another 9'7" guy. So just staying with it, figuring things out, getting really technical should bode him well. Tobogo doesn't really have any of that. I don't know what training camp Tobogo has, but I'm fairly certain that Tobogo still trains in Botswana. And Botswana has a lot of 400 guys, as we've seen, but the hundreds, pretty much only him. So I actually don't... If someone knows more about Tobogo's training camp, I'd love to know. But Tobogo doesn't... I know for a fact, Tobogo does not have a 9'7" guy in his training camp. Neither does Noah, but the difference here is, with Noah, he is a 9'7" guy. If he can get back into peak shape, if he can just do what he's done before, then it doesn't matter. He'll do well. But Tobogo doesn't really have that, which is a real serious edge over Tobogo. Because I'm pretty sure they're around the same age. Like, Tobogo's like 23, 24, Brian's 21. So they're both still not at their peak yet. But Brian has just better edge from not just his training partners, but his coach. I want to say one of the best coaches in the world. I mean, that's literally the fastest and second fastest in the 1 and the 2's coach. So put respect on Glenn Mills' name. And he's just younger. 3 years means he's got more to do, more time to get good. Tobogo could surprise me next season. Again, I can't really speak too far into the future because I'm just going off of my own headcanon, not what I'm seeing, like what I've been trying to do here. But it could go either way, but I want to put more of my money on Brian. If you want to say it's because I'm Jamaican, then sure. It's because I'm Jamaican. I put my money on Brian. But I love Tobogo. He's cool. Did Lavelle get third? He did. 1964. That's from Happy Dog Eduardo, by the way. And again, because when the race finished, it said he got third. I think it switches. It was Tobogo, and then it went to, Brian. Third was really messy. George Elmer, Tobogo getting the world record next season at 21. Tobogo ran 1946. Easy. Lavelle can't go below 19.6 yet. Tobogo did that at 20. Do you want me to add you to the list? I mean, I might lose the paper by the time we get to, the Ultimate World Champs? But I can add you to the list. I can add you to the list. Because saying he's going to get the world record is crazy. I will acknowledge of Bolt's world records, whether that's the 100, the 150, or the 200, the easiest one to get is the 200. But just because it's the easiest one to get doesn't mean it's easy. To put in perspective, no one would say that, let's say Femke Bol. No one would say Femke Bol is going to get Sydney's world record, whether that was this season or next season, in the 400 hurdles. If you go off of World Athletics points, Sydney is dwarfed. Not by a lot, but she is dwarfed by Usain Bolt. I think Sydney's like 1,312. Usain Bolt's 1,350 for both the 200 and 1. So I think his 100 might be 1,360. That's a lot of ground to cover. That's a lot of ground to make up. He needs to drop about almost 3 tenths per second to pull that off. If you was to say he could be a 19.2 athlete, as crazy as that sounds, I wouldn't put it past him. Like, he could get there maybe this season or the next season. I'd have to see what he's doing, though, before I just say straight up he's going to be a 19.2 athlete, like what we saw here. But world record, no. To put in perspective, when Usain Bolt's world record for the 200 is trash. Realistically, he should have won sub 20. Sub 19, because that 1919 was realistically trash if you go up against his 100 PB. But to run a 1919, or in this case a 1918 at least, Tobogo would need to run, I believe, is a mid 9.7. Mid 9.7. Let me actually do the maths, because for 200-meter athletes, for 200-meter athletes, if you times their 100-meter time by 2 or less, it depends on how well they run. Like for me, my 100 is 11 flat. If you times that by 2, it's 22. So I run 21.8. If you times my 11 by like 1.996, I think you get 21.83, which is by that distinction greater than my 100 PB. So it'd be the same thing. So I'm going to divide 1918 by 2, which would mean this is the minimum time that would be required for, what do you call it, Tobogo to run. (1918) divided by 2, 958. 958. So essentially, Tobogo would need to be in double world record shape to get the 200 world record, which is why I'm just saying it's not realistic. It's just not realistic. When you go off of it like that, the person with the highest chance at getting a 1918 would be between Noah and Kashane, because they've got the fastest PBs out of everyone. Well, not so much Noah, but Noah he runs under a multiplier of 2 for his 200s. So to give you an example, let's use this race right here. Noah ran 19.52, and in the 100 he ran 9.89. Divide that by 2, you get, well, I'll just read it out. That's a lot of numbers. 1.97. So based off of that, if we were to go back and divide by 1.97, Noah would just need to run, I'm not going to show you. Noah would just need to run 9.74 to get the world record. To prove a point. I don't actually know what Tobogo's best performances are for this season, because that's a lot. He should have given me that in the finals, but he DQ'd, and his 200 was a bit. I mean, his 200 is fine, but it wasn't really good. But yeah, it's just not happening. It's just not realistic. When we see, that's why Johan Blake is the only person to have ever even gone close to Usain Bolt's world record, because Johan Blake had a few advantages. First off, he's a sub 97 guy. Second off, he was told how to run the bend, not just by Glenn Mills, but Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt actually said in an interview, I think it was an interview, but I know he said it, that he never told Johan how to run a 200 after that meet, because he told him how to run a 200 on the day. He almost got his world record. After that, he was like, yeah, no. And then we already saw what happened in 2012, where not almost, but he was the only person that challenged Bolt to the line for the 2. So these things happen. But Tobogo, nah, not happening. I need to see proof. And as I just showed you, that's a lot of proof, because we could put Tobogo probably between the same range. So he would need to be running between 9.59 to 9.74 to even have a chance, even be able to sniff the world record. Is Tobogo running 9.8 or 9.7 this season? 9.8. I'm not even sure if he ran 9.8 this season, but it doesn't really matter. But he's not even running 9.7 yet. He hasn't had a single 9.7 performance, so I can't even say he's even close. What was Lavelle's first 100-meter split? I don't know. If you want to know that, you're going to have to go to TRP. He'll probably give it to you. I don't know, though, but I'm going to assume it was quick, because it was. Based off of how... Actually, you know what, yeah? How about we do this? It's not going to be accurate, but I've got a stopwatch somewhere. So we can try and figure this out. Again, it's not going to be accurate, but hey, I want to answer this, because I want to know as well. Let's find out. This is not going to be accurate at all, but whatever. Okay. I need a bit of sound to know when the gun goes. Okay. Nah, I did that wrong. I'm just going to add a second to that. So about 10.2. About 10.2. Which is quite quick. For example, for me, I tend to run... Actually, no, let's not use me. I just run trash bends. but I'm usually like 0.2 to 0.3 slower than my 100 PB on the bend for the 100. So if I was in this race, to be where they are, I would need to be running at least 9.9. Chances are I wouldn't even be doing that. My bends can be really trash when you want to be. So yeah, 10.2. Happy Dog Eduardo, what did Bogo get time? 19.65. George Elmer, Tobogo had a grade 2 hamstring strain this season. Tobogo's like me for real. I had a hamstring strain. It was low grade. Probably, I think the lowest grade is 1. So probably like, for me, 1 or 2 like him. Happy Dog Eduardo. Okay, you guys are talking to each other. Addy, it's not Glenn Mills. Who? I know you're talking about Brian Lavelle. Who is it? Someone tell me, please. Who is it? George Elmer, just because he has a good bend doesn't mean he has speed, fluidity, talent. I'm guessing you're talking about Brian Lavelle. And yeah, that is the case, which is part of the reason why I needed to see how he ran against competition. Because in his heats and his semis, there was no competition. He just ran away from everyone. He had a good bend, which is what you want to be doing during the champs, and then he just left. So I didn't really have to see whether he would be challenged or if he would like tense up or anything else like that when he's running. But here I did see it, which was he was fine for a bit here, but once he started to see that they were moving, started to tense up, then he started to drift backwards. Otherwise, who knows? I don't think he would have got gold, but silver was definitely a possibility because Kenny wouldn't have passed him. Kenny's like a decent bit behind, going off of their shadows. Yeah, he is in line with Tobogo, so he could have done it, but he faded. Addy, Shaniki Osborne is Lavelle's coach, some random guy. Tobogo 21. Tobogo ran. Oh, that's someone else. Okay, that's a lot of information that I didn't know. Okay, so a lot of the benefits I gave to Brian now have to go. But even still, I mean, he does have the opportunity, what do you call it? He does have a benefit still over Tobogo, which is the fact that he's still in Jamaica. So even if he's not competing or training with Brian, well, not Brian, I don't know why his name's not in my head, Oblique or Kashane often, he's probably going to be having some communications with them. They're probably going to be helping him out. So it's not going to be a lot of detail because they are competitors at the end of the day, but relay practice, for example, you're going to get benefits from doing stuff like that and seeing how it all works. Between that, that's good. And I just believe in him more. Tobogo being 21 means they're the same age, so it could go either way. Tobogo just feels like he's so old, if I'm being honest. He's been here for so long, but I want to put my money on Brian. I'll change this, not if Tobogo runs faster. I'll change this if Tobogo runs a better bend, because his bend was trash at champs. So if you just run a better bend, then I'd give it to him. Because Tobogo has a better advantage over Brian, which is he can run, when at his best anyway, he can run a really good bend and he can close really well. Only person to almost start closing on Noah, almost hold off Noah, or hold off Noah is Tobogo, if you exclude Kenny, I guess, because Kenny's done it, but only like twice. So Tobogo has those advantages, but again, can't predict that far into the future. We're just gonna have to wait and see. George Elmer, Tobogo ran faster at 20 than Brian at 21. He did, but here's another thing that you want to think about, which is Tobogo ran faster, younger, but who's injured right now? That could be why he's injured. Which athlete's injured? Is it Brian or Tobogo? It's Tobogo. Brian's fine. I haven't really got much else to say, but Brian's fine. Tobogo isn't. And a hamstring injury is like not an easy one to deal with. Like it's like one injury below the worst type of injury you can get. Like something's ripping off the bone. Like for example, like with Johan Blake, his hamstring came straight off the bone, and everyone saw what happened to him after 2013. So I don't know. He's gonna make a comeback. He's gonna make an amazing comeback. I know that for a fact. But who's injured? Brian or Tobogo? That's what I'm thinking. Because like Brian's going into the next season uninjured. He doesn't have to worry about rehab or prepping, so he can really hammer the training well, go through everything to do what he does best. Can Tobogo do that? He's got to deal with the hamstring. I know from experience. You've got to take it easy first, then ramp it up. Once you think the hamstring's fine, and even then it probably isn't. Nasty guy. It's the same guy on alt account. Maybe. Put me on the list. Quote me on it. I know it's a crazy take. Okay, I will. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do something even better. I'm gonna find your comment from before. Actually no, I remember it was. You said world record. I don't have to think much. Okay, so you said world record. I'm gonna put on my notes. Because if I put it on paper, I'm gonna forget this. I'm gonna lose it. But if I put on my notes, I'm in those every day. I'll remember this. So, world record prediction. George. Hell no. Is there one? Okay, it's 2 R's. Tobogo. 19. Wait, I want an exact time. What time exactly do you think he's gonna run? I'll put 1918 for now, but I'm assuming you mean next season. I'm gonna assume you mean next season. Got it there. Oh, why did it change to Kurtz and Rebozo? Who's Rebozo? It's fine as autocorrect. I hate that. I hate autocorrect so much. I didn't know because I only use this phone to record. But yeah, if you change exactly what it is, you'll let me know. In the next 2 seasons, okay. So by 2027. Addy, that's like saying Lau that I've broken the world record because he ran 9:31. Yeah, kind of is. Georgia, I think Tobogo isn't bad at 100. He just has had 2 bad 100-meter years. But I mean, we'll have to see. His form is very backside, so it doesn't really work well in the 1. The reason why Usain Bolt got away with having backside was just because he's tall. I wouldn't really say he had a big backside. It was mainly just that he was so tall it looked like he did. He really ripped off the ground when he should and cycled into the next step. So he was quite front side. He just didn't have his knees as high as maybe everyone else, but he didn't need to. Addy, Kenny ran 9:792. Yeah, he did, but for Kenny again, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Kenny's 9.7 is like the fakest 9.7 to ever touch the top 20 for the 100. He ran it into a 1.8 wind. Why do you think he hasn't done it again? He hasn't got a 1.8 wind again. I mean, that wind's great, and I speak from experience because, what was it, 2 seasons ago, I ran 11.18 into a +2 wind. I'm walking around saying, I'm a level 1 guy, First off, not only am I barely a level 1 guy, the wind was so great that once you just bring it back down to normal levels, which I found out at the very next season, I'm a level 3 guy. It took the very end of that season to become a level 2 guy, and then the next race to become a level 1 guy, for real this time, because I ran my level 1 into a minus headwind, into a headwind. So I knew for real this time I am genuinely an 11-1 guy. Or like this season where I know I am genuinely an 11 flat guy, because all my 100-meter times have pretty much been into no wind, whether that's a slight headwind or a slight tailwind. So I know for a fact, put me wherever you want in the world or wherever you want in this country, I'll give you an 11 flat. Can you say the same thing? No. Giorgio Tobogo is better at speed endurance than Bolt, so I think he doesn't need to run 9.6, only 9.75 or something. I mean, the lowest he can do is 9.74. It would be genuinely impossible to go any faster than that. It's just, you can't hold for any longer than that. Like, Noah's made a peak. Maybe 9.75, maybe 9.76. So I'll give you that room. Maybe you could, but I don't think so. And part of the reason why he's so good is because when he runs the 200 bend, he gets out everyone else instead of leading. Which is part of the reason why Usain Bolt never went that too fast in a 2, because he just left everyone. He used everything around that bend, and the bend uses more energy than the straight. So once he got to the straight, he was just dying. Like when I compare how Bolt runs his 100 or 80 straight to how I run my 80 straight, I'm just looking at this guy. I'm like, that's the supposed world record holder, yes? Why do I run my straights better than him? And it just comes down to like energy placement. Where you put in the most amount of your energy, is it on a straight or on a bend? Bolt chose the bend. He got a world record for it. Tobogo chooses the straight. Got a 19.4 for it. So we just got to see how exactly he lines this up. If he's actually got the world record in his mind. Nasty guy. George, you're getting crazy right now. I agree. These are some crazy times. George Omo, I'm not. Let's see. These are 400 B's compared to Bolt. He has a second best 400 meter relay split. I want to say this because a lot of people don't know this, and I thought it would be more common knowledge. But you do know Bolt didn't start running the 200 and he dropped down to the 1. He actually started doing the 400, and he did a 200 as well. He was a national junior. He was a junior champ, world champ in the 400 before he dropped down to the 1 and the 2. So he has a big 400 meter base every season. He runs the 1 and the 2 because Glenn Mills, or not even Glenn Mills, the Jamaicans, they always do 400 meter training during the winter prep. So they come into this with 400 meter base, just like Tobogo. It's just they don't always go and run a 400 or a 300 at the start of the season. For another reason, for more proof, Usain Bolt's 400 isn't that fast. He ran like a 45. But his 300 is top 5 all time. And that's something. That's a lot. That's a lot. Because he's actually might be higher than that. I think he might be 4th. Because it would be Tobogo, Wade Van Niekerk, Michael Johnson, and then if I'm correct, it is Bolt right behind. So he's not 5, he's 4, I think. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, because someone knows this. So it's not like Bolt can't hold his top end well. He can. He's one of the best when it comes to holding it well. But sub 19 is hard. A world record's hard, and another world record is hard. He did it twice, 2 years in a row. I mean, there's 19 feet was trash, but he did it twice, 2 years in a row. I gotta give him some breathing room when it comes to that, because he just gave us 4, I'm like 5 or 6, I don't even know how many world records he gave us in a 2-year span. So Tobogo has to do a lot of work if he wants to get that world record, even if it is one of Bolt's weaker world records. But when it comes to weaker, it's like saying, yeah, 200 kilograms is lighter to squat than 250. But just because it's light doesn't mean it's easy, you know? George Omar, he has 300 meter world record. Next season, 9.7. Tobogo runs 9.7 next season. Yeah, add into your own law. Because Jeremy, I'm gonna bring this back. A year from now, we'll see. Because I can't agree with this. Neve Roblox Gamer. Hey, it's me from maybe 1 hour ago. I remember you. Hello. Shanna Digital Marketer. Will you be showing the 4x4 relays? I didn't plan to. I didn't actually plan to show any relays because it's different. It's different. When it comes to individual events, I can rather easily predict because you just got one person to worry about. But when you get to relays, it's a team effort, and you could have one person in the shape of their life. Like a good example of that was last season, I believe, Tobogo, fastest 400 meter split of all time, but the rest of his team went up to par, so he got silver instead of gold. So I might show the relays. The relays are today. The 4x1. The 4x1's today, I believe. Or tomorrow. I don't know when the 4x4 is. If any of it's today, maybe I will talk about it. If it's not, then I'm not too certain. So we'll see. If I do a video of a live of it, then we'll know. But if it's today, there might be another live today. If not, because I'm quite tired. I'm exhausted. Georgia, I've got to feel bad for Kenny at this point. I mean, I've been feeling bad for Kenny for a while. I remember at the start at the end of last season, I believe it was, he was crying, and I think he made a YouTube video about this, how, maybe it was an interview. It's so long ago, but I just remember him in whichever it was an interview or a YouTube, just saying, actually no, he wasn't saying any of that in an interview. I think he might have been recorded saying that to his coach. He was crying into him, just saying, I'm just so sick and tired of losing and coming second. And I agree with him, because I've been there before. Like, during my first season, when I was sprinting, I was running 12.5. Everyone else running 11. I was getting rolled. And it's just like, why am I losing to you guys so consistently? There's not even room for me to win. Because like some of the people that I was losing to, realistically, like some of them had like deficiencies, genuinely deficiencies that wouldn't make sense. I've lost to guys who've had asthma in a 200. I've lost to guys who are disabled. Like if they were to get to the world stage, they'd be doing it for the Paralympics. I lost to a guy in a 60 who was missing an arm. Yeah, it doesn't get much down bad than that. And that wasn't even like seasons ago. That was just 2 seasons ago, I think, or 1. So I've been where he's been, and it's annoying because it's like, why is this happening? But at the end of the day, I mean, you just gotta keep doing what you're doing. As long as you're seeing progression, eventually you're gonna win. But the only issue is, as if you watch Jumpman's YouTube video, it's quite sad because it's like, Kenny lost to Noah again, and Noah wasn't even in peak shape. He wasn't even in peak shape. So what's happening? But it is worth acknowledging though, he did finish super close behind, and that is progress. Usually there's a bit of a bigger gap than that. So Kenny's probably still upset, but hey, the gap's narrowing, and that's what you got to focus on. I'm happy as long as someone dethrones Noah, and if people keep fading, then I will dethrone him. I've said it here. Plasma King batch. What? You know I'm British, right? And I'm fairly certain I look nothing like him. George Elmer, Tobogo explosiveness has been really trashed this year. Yes. Probably partially due to his injury, but also just partially down to the fact that he's not really... I want to say he's not really been training as hard, and his coach probably hasn't been grilling him as hard because, again, down season for him, according to his coach. And you said he can recover, and this just shows that Bro can still run a 9.65 in bad conditions. I mean, when you're a 19.4 guy, you can obviously run a 9.6. To put in perspective, my PB's 21.8. I only ran that once, but during the rest of the season, whether that was before that or after that, I was pretty much consistently running like 22 flat or 22 flat performances. Like after the 21, I had 2 22 threes because I was making mistakes. Like one of the races, I just got out like this. Don't know why I did that, like out of the blocks. I just got out so slow. And then the other one, I was sick, food poisoning, so my finish wasn't as strong. I should have won that whole thing. That would have been a sub 22. But beyond that, every race I did was a 22 flat, and it's just down to because like the gap between my PBs so big, relatively. I'm making mistakes somewhere, which is costing me a 10th, and maybe I'm just not in peak shape, which is costing me another 10th. So the 19.6 isn't that surprising. And you might be saying, well, yeah, he has the hamstring strain. I did all of this with a hamstring strain as well. So I'm in the same boat as him. My PB was done post hamstring strain, not too far off, and it was still flaring up. It even flares up now. So I know what is possible to do in that situation, and I know what's impressive. This is standard. I wouldn't put it in an impressive category. George Orwell, 1917. 1917. Okay, changing it. Not even 18. Okay, 1917. Crazy Videos 11. Hi man, love from India. Love back from the UK. Addy, true, but Kenny could have run a low 9.897 at least a world chance. But look at his reaction, 0.22, and he stumbled on the first step and still ran 9.92, closing on everyone but Seville. 9.98 at best. 9.7 no. 9.8 because most of the pros, the reaction time is 0.13. I know Seville's is exactly 0.13. So I was able to give a very accurate prediction with him. But let's say Kenny is also 0.13, which he probably is. That means from that time, you could remove, from his reaction time at the finals, you could remove 0.09 at best. That's it. Remove 0.09 from 992, you get 983, which is in line with his 979 with the 1.8 wind, and it would have been a PB. Actually, no, it wouldn't be because of 979. But it would have been a really fast time in line with the 970s already ran, but it wouldn't have been enough to really make too many waves. He would have beat Noah, which would have been a big W because Noah ran 989, but Kenny isn't really my best pick. When I think about Kenny, I'll give him bronze and silver. I'll never give him gold because I just haven't seen him give me a gold performance yet. Like even his 9.7, impressive at face value, but when I saw it, the instant first thought I saw it said was, what was that wind? Because when you look at the way he ran, it was really trying like T-Rex arms out of blocks, stumbled out of the blocks. I don't know why he keeps stumbling out of the blocks. He has to come from behind. That's not how you run a 9.7. That's how you run a 9.7 if you run a 9.6 guy, but that's not how you run a 9.7. And then once the wind was shown, it made sense. He's running a 9.8 performance against 9.9 guys at the moment, so not that surprising. Jojo Ma still doesn't compare to the 42.95 400 meters, but I think you're arguing between yourselves. Jojo Ma, put yourself on the list for saying you'll beat Noah. I don't even know. Maybe I'll make another note. Actually, I don't need to make another note. You guys remember me saying this. I remember me saying. I've been saying this for seasons now. I've been saying this for years. Because when it comes to the 100, Noah will have me, I think. Because I just can't. I don't know why, but things aren't being put together. But in a 200, I am aggressively making my way down. Last season, my PB was 22.9. By the end of it, it was 22.6. I was injured. I injured my knee for most of that season, which is why we didn't really make that big of a jump. And then this season, we went to 21.8 with the hamstring strain. So it's not even accurate because I'm a 6.99 guy in a 60, which was also done with a hamstring strain, which isn't that good. So my times are all wishy-washy. This season coming, I'm expecting a similar jump. Mark my words, I will run sub 21 in 2026. The years blur. I will run sub 21. And when we do that, I am on his tail. One more or two more seasons from there, he is mine. And I will probably not win. But I'll be running sub 20 and that's progress. Georgia, when are you thinking Gout is going 9.8 or 97? I don't know. I actually don't know. That comes down to the fact that I don't see his training or just how he moves during the season because he doesn't really have that many competitions. Oh, I need to charge the phone. Give me a sec. I see, like, I can give general predictions for the other athletes because I actually see how they... I'm not going to do this. I see them, how they move during the season because they have a lot of competitions because they need money, so they're going to show up. But Gout 17, he does not need to compete anywhere until it's necessary. I mean, he probably doesn't even make his own meals. Mom probably does that. So he can show up last minute for world champs or wherever he wants as long as he has qualified. So less effort, so I don't see him much. And all of his performances are not only in Australia, which there's no hate against Australia specifically, but they're often at some random no-name meet, and sometimes they're hand-timed. So I can't even say too much. Like with me saying he has bare acceleration, that was the only thing I could take from his hand-timed 9.9, which people were saying was like a 10.2 performance and all that. I could only take that his acceleration is way better, technically. But that was the only real performance I had to go off of. So I can't really... Because he's going up against Chubbs. So I can't really say too much on whether Gal's going to run like a 9.8 or a 19.7. I just need to be shocked, because Gal doesn't really have much races that he shows either, because he doesn't have much races. So when he runs 9.8, I will be sitting down just like you, like, or 19.7, like, because when I saw that 19.8 that he did, I was also shocked, but it was into a headwind. So he also needs to get luckier, because he should be a sub 20 guy, but he just has some really, really good wins, which makes him unlucky sometimes. So that is it for the review of the 100. I will go over any questions that any of you guys have. Beyond that, we will be doing the 200 women right now. I just need to download it first. So I'm gonna get to work downloading that. We are downloading it now. Can't show the website, because if I do, it might get taken down. But I am downloading it. So when I can, we will look over that. But for now, when it comes to this, if there's anything else that you guys want me to speak about or show, like technically what they were doing right or wrong, I can go over that whilst we wait for the video to download, and it's about to be downloaded. So yeah, something else was Zarnell. Actually, I was interested in Zarnell, how he was going to perform. He underperformed. Britain seems to love underperforming, but I would say it was a decent performance from him. Out of everyone else, like some of these people, they kind of underperformed because of where they've been. Like, actually, no, I don't think he was. But these were like main five I was looking at. Tobogo to the left, and performed rather well. Some of them. Melissa getting Elaine's 100-meter world record. That's not a crazy take. George Elmer again. Why do you say these stuff? Why do you say this stuff? Why do you say this stuff? Give me timeline. I'm adding this. When do you think she's gonna get the world record? Well, I mean, actually, he said Elaine's. So, but even still, why do you say this stuff? Melissa gets Elaine. Well, let's say beats, because she doesn't actually have the world record. Beats Elaine's PB in 100. It just is. It just is. To put in perspective, before the season, she was running 10.8. She's now running 10.6. At this level, you don't make improvements by that big. Which is why people think she might be doing drugs and XYZ. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here talking about what people do or don't put in their bodies. That's none of my business. I'm not a doping agency. But what I will talk about is the fact that it is highly unlikely and almost impossible to make such a big jump again. Like, look at Bolt. Bolt went from 9.69 to 9.58, 19.31 to 19.19. Not because he couldn't go far. Not because he couldn't go faster. He could. But because he wasn't taking those races seriously. The 200 didn't run it well. The 100, he was not taking that. That was clearly a 9.58 performance. And his 9.58 performance, actually his 9.6 performance had a chance of being a 9.4 if you really broke it down. And then his 9.58 performance should have been a 9.55. But beyond that, no faster. Like 2012, he had a real good shot at getting both world records. He fumbled. 100 by accident, 200 on purpose. So I just don't see it. She can't make that big of a jump after having made that big of a jump. Doesn't happen often, which is why I don't think she will. So now we've got the women on the screen. You see it properly? I'm probably blocking the screen, aren't I? Hello, Sprint Sensei. Thank you for joining us and renewing your membership as a track champion. This is a 200. We had Melissa in 6, I believe. Sharika in 7. Don't know who was in 8. Amy Hunt in 5. So these are the 3 that ended up being relevant. So I think Sharika got bronze. So it was Melissa, Amy Hunt, and then Sharika. For the 200 podium, I was wrong. For the men, I said it was going to be Brian, then Noah, then Kenny. The podium was right. The order was wrong because it ended up being Noah, then Kenny, then Brian. For the women, I had a similar story. I didn't want to acknowledge it, but I had Melissa number 1, Sharika number 2, and I think you guys I might have said it yesterday, but just for the head of it, I put Amy Hunt 3rd. She hadn't actually shown me anything crazy beyond the semi slightly, where I said, what do you call it, that she would be good enough to get a medal. But I was like, you know what, yeah, let's support my country for once. Let's put a British athlete there. And then what did she do? She got silver. So I was really shocked there. But let's watch the race. For those of you that haven't watched it, even though if you haven't, I just spoiled what actually ended up happening. Nice, some more lag. And she pulls away. I don't know why this is so glitchy. 21.69. So, yeah, I really was not happy with this race because, again, she doesn't know how to run a 200. Georgia, by the way, I did think Noah was going to win, and I thought Tobogo could catch Lavelle after seeing the semis. I was 0.01 wrong. I mean, 2 of it. Yeah, he was. Where is it? Pen. I guess I will start with the gold medalist because, sure, 10.61 in the 100. Impressive. I think, actually, I wish I had exactly what these girls ran, but Amy Hunt, I don't think she made it to the 100 finals. Tell me if I'm wrong. Sharika, she must have run like 10.9, 10.8. So, regardless of what Sharika ran, at the end of the day, from what we've seen so far, it is clear that Melissa is well and clear the favourite, just off of pure speed alone. And pure speed trumps all, clearly, because that's all she had to run her 21.6. If you do the exact same thing that I was doing for the men's, does she go to the left, to the right, to the middle? You'll see something which I absolutely detest. Why is this not moving? So, hello? This thing's glitching. This thing is glitched. It's glitched. It's glitched. Okay. Stop mirroring. I don't know what's wrong today. So annoying. Mike's progression. The American last was incredible. Speed-wise, sure. Technically, there is much to be desired. Georgia, you versus Melissa in 1 month. Who wins? Me, because albeit she does have a faster 200 meter PB than me now, I am actively training, and I don't want to spoil much, but I am moving quick. So, I don't think so. Max progression, you know you're missing the relays right now. The relays right now. Oh well. I care more about individuals than I do about the relay. I mean, when it comes down to it, I already went over this a bit, but when it comes down to it, for the relays, you could have the fastest team imaginable. Let's use USA as an example. And then for some reason that baton just flies out of your hand. What are you going to do? Disqualified. You've lost. Relays go into adding to an athlete's legacy, but in my head, they are useless, other than helping some people who aren't good enough to get a gold medal for the first time or second time or whatever, because it doesn't really do much in regards to that. So I tend to just ignore them. I'll watch the finals later on. Like every other race that I've seen, I've tried to see it live if I can. Relays, I don't care. I won't even see it on BBC iPlayer as I've been seeing all of this. I'll just see it when World Athletics uploads it later on. I don't care. But yeah, let's look at Melissa. If this isn't glitching. Okay. So there, gets out in the middle, and then as she comes around the bend, she drifts to the outside. So I'm just let this move. Look at that. Look how close. Like the middle is there. Yeah, she's there. She's not outside, but she is on the outside. So she's running a few extra meters than she needs to. And what makes this really, really bad is she does not correct this. Like she tried a bit there, but she doesn't correct it. She runs, does a little correction, and then because the track isn't in a straight line, she runs from being in the middle slightly to back to being on the outside. She doesn't know exactly how to curve with the bend. So as she goes around, the only reason she's in front is because she's just that much faster than everyone else. Like you can really see it. Yeah, you can really see it here. That's her there. Sharika is in the middle of her lane, right there. Melissa is on the left. Amy was hugging the inside of the lane the entire time. Sharika drifts out slightly. Melissa just riding around the bend, like really. There's a famous moment from F1 where this guy's brakes stop working. So he just revs the accelerator, slams into the wall, and just drives around the whole thing. And I think he won. That's pretty much what she was doing here. She's not really running expertly with the two. She's just going around the whole thing. So once he gets here, I want to say, it no longer matters. She's already in front. She's wasting more energy than everyone else has to do this job. But she's already in front. She probably won't be caught, and that's exactly what ended up happening. She just ran away from everyone. But people like Amy Hunt, who had a good bend, they had more energy in the tank, and quite frankly, they kind of run better upright than Melissa does. So when she was coming down, she's just reeling people in. See that? Reeling them in. Moving forwards to end up getting silver in the end. Like Sharika's breaking down. I don't know what Sharika's doing. She hasn't looked the same. Hasn't looked right for years now. But Amy's just cruising, kind of, not pushing too hard. Whilst Melissa, if you saw that front on, she's like, which is really, wow. So she's clearly pushing a bit more than she should be, slowing down a lot. I mean, what was this? Those knees should be together, not separate like that. Overstriding, more overstriding, boom. That I would say, if we ignore the bend, which could have cut off, it's at least a tenth of a second. Whatever just happened in those final 3 or 4 steps would have been enough for another tenth. Which is why I say she could be a 21.5 low to 21.4 high, I guess, athlete, but she doesn't know how to run 200. Like watching the women's has annoyed me so much because Julian doesn't even have to run a 10.6 in the 100 to show she's got the speed. She just needs to run a 10.7, show up, and she will win because she's just saving so much more energy around the bend. She doesn't do this. I've never seen Julian run a bend like this. This hurt my eyes as a 200-meter athlete myself. This hurt my eyes to witness. Because if you can win gold like this, yeah, then why am I running 21? What's going on here? To put some perspective on this, my 21.8 that I ran was done with an 11 flat PB. So if we were to race in 100, I am 0.4 seconds slower than this woman, and I'd be there. The reason being is I just run a better bend than her. I wouldn't say that I'm holding my top end for much longer than she is or anything like that, but maybe I am. But I would be there. I would be about there. Actually, I might be there. I'm a bit closer. I'm 0.4 seconds slower than her in the 1, but that's not the case for the 2. For the 2, I'm only 0.2. So I've half the distance. I've half the gap between us, even though the distance is wider. I mean, it really hurt me to watch this. This really made me sad. Really, I'm not even gonna go over the rest. So Sharika, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. She just hasn't been in shape. Like if she was at least in shape, she still would have won. Like what Noah did for the 200. And then Amy, congrats, well done. I don't know what it was that told me that she would run as well as she did and get silver, but yeah, well done there, impressive. Melissa needs to figure out how to run a bend. If she did, then who knows? 21-4, 21-3, maybe. We'll see. But she needs to get fast for that. But yeah, there's a lot to be desired from this. But hey, when you're garbage at an event, but you still win it on the world stage, what does that say about you? You're just that much better than everyone else. I don't think anyone would really disagree with me here when it comes to saying she didn't have good 200 technique when she ran the 200. She was just stupidly faster than everyone else in the event, and so she won. She won. Like, look, she had a blowout in the 100, and then some of the same girls came to race her in the 200, and the girls that didn't come from the 100, who raced her in the 200, or if they were to race her in the 100, saying they hadn't already this season, blow out again. So I'm not surprised that she did it in the 2. I was really upset that no one was showing dominance to do it. Though one thing I'm upset about is the fact that Sharika ran 21.99 in the semis, and then she ran 22.3 in the finals. What is that about? What is that about? That's it. But yeah, I guess that's it. I'll see you guys. I don't know. Maybe I will talk about the relays. I don't know. But this is why I didn't want to talk about the women for the 200. It just makes me so sad. I'm so sad when I just think about it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in probably my next live, because my next YouTube video is going to be a bit further away. You have to wait till October for that. So I'll see you guys maybe today. We'll see. You'll have to wait. Most of you are probably watching the relays right now, and I'm just talking in your ear. So get back. I guess I'll join in as well.